Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as I show you how to divide leopard Spain. So let's go. I love leopard Spain. It is such a beautiful daisy-like yellow flower that blooms in the early spring months. The plant is hardy in USDA zones 5 through 8, which makes it a great, wonderful daisy flower that blooms in the early spring months when a lot of your other spring bulbs are blooming. What I really like about the plant is that it does well in both sun as well as part shade conditions. Now keep in mind, it is the happiest when it's getting a fair amount of water. You don't want to let this plant dry out. My leopard's bane looks so beautiful in this flower bed. I have a big clump of it right here, but it continues past me down this way. And I just loved the yellow blossoms during the spring months when I also had daffodils blooming in other flower beds of mine. Last year I divided this plant, and it's amazing how big each division got in just 1 year. So I wanted to show you how I go about dividing it because I want to move it a little bit more around my yard. You can see compared to the size of my hand that this is quite a large plant. And as we make our way in this flower bed, there is a nice clump right over there, another one right over there. And as we keep going, you can see there's another one and another one. And believe it or not, it continues along this way in here. I'm going to take you in so you can see. I even have a piece over here, but as we make our way in this flower bed around the corner, I have a piece over here. There's one right here and another. There's one hidden under here and a few over here. So last year we really divided this into a lot of pieces. And this plant benefits from being divided every 2 to 3 years. But I have so many pieces now to choose from that I can go ahead and even divide it down another section or two, which is so exciting. In order to divide the plant, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a shovel. You can see that the base is right here, so I'm going to be digging just a little bit away from the base. There are quite a few plants in here. And what's nice is I can go ahead and just divide this plant by tugging at it and pulling it apart. I can see right here is a nice place to be able to divide it. So just with a gentle tug, I have two divisions right there. One over here and another one over here. And you can see I can still divide this big piece here. I am all about getting free plants when it comes to plants in my landscape. And while I'm tugging it, I'm still able to get even small pieces like this. And what's nice is it's a cloudy day, so it's perfect to be doing what I'm doing for this plant. You would not want to be doing this on a very hot, sunny day. In fact, we have rain coming very shortly, so it's a great day for me to be dividing this plant. And right there, believe it or not, this division will double in size by next year. So for me, there's 3 plants here, and that's a perfect size to put somewhere else in my yard. So even with this clump here, I'm just pulling it apart, and I have one there. And that's another one that's pretty big. And that makes for a nice clump, and that makes for a nice clump. If leaves fall off, that's okay. I can just put these in my compost pile. There's another division. And these as well. So let's go ahead and count how many plants we have in terms of what I'm going to plant somewhere else in my landscape. We have 1, we have 2. Even though there's multiple plants here, we're going to call this 3, 4, 5, and 6. Not bad. We took one large clump and we turned them into 6 smaller clumps. Let's go ahead and get these planted somewhere else in the yard. But first I want to put one plant back. I'm just going to backfill. I want to make sure that the roots are secured under the soil. It's a small plant, but again, it's going to double in size by next year. Now remember, we have this plant all the way in this area here and then going around there. But I don't have anything towards this side of the bed. So we're going to add some plants on this side. We're going to add one right over here. We might as well add another one right over here. We have one tucked over in that corner over there, so I want to add another one right over here. I really do love this plant, and even if some of these areas are not their permanent locations, I am glad to have divided the plant. And the next year, when things are blooming in my yard, if I'm noticing that there would be a better home for any of these plants, I can always dig them up and move them at that time. Here we go. I know it's tight quarters in here, but I want to plant one right there because I have one right across from it over in that area there. We're back at this location, and remember, we just planted one over here. There was already one over in that corner there, so I'm just going to plant one right in the center here. And it's really 3 plants in here, 1, 2, 3, but they're all pretty small, so they're all going to just stay together in this hole. I am all about dividing plants. In fact, a lot of the plants that you see in this video, as well as other areas of my yard, are plants that I just bought one plant and I have divided it over time. And I feel that's the best way to make big impact in your yard. If you don't have Leopard's Bane, I highly recommend that plant. It is a beautiful perennial to add for your garden for the early spring months. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you, so please drop them down in the comment section below. And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.